Okay, who lives in a city? Say a couple 100,000, show of hands. Yeah? This is your night sky, right? You don't see anything, so why would you look up? Well, maybe you might look up and see if something is coming down from the high rise. Who doesn't live in the city? Who's rural? I'm rural. Okay, this is our night sky. Yeah? There's a little bit of wash off the screen, but I think you can see it. If we were to stand outside at night and have a look, we'd see this. That's the North Star. So everything is revolving around the North Star. You'll recognize a few constellations. We're going to be talking about those later. Probably the best known one is this one. We'll talk about that some more. This is essentially a time lapse running through the night from dusk to dawn. Eventually we'll see the ground come up. And wouldn't it be nice if we could actually sit outside and see this? It's so beautiful. And dawn's coming. Now, if you had good retention, in fact, you'd see something like that. And that really does show you how the stars revolve around the North Star. So that was a jet plane that went across there. All right, quiz time. How many constellations are there? And I will give you a clue. The answer is not 12. How many constellations are there? Anybody want to take a guess? Sorry? Billions. Did you say billions? No.
60.
60? No.
35.
35? No. 88.
That's pretty close.
That's the answer. 88. Anybody know what that one is? Hey, very good, very good. These are the major stars in Orion. This one up here is a red giant. Here you see a blue giant. You can see the colors very clearly in this. It's a Hubble Space Telescope picture. Not all of the stars in, I haven't circled all of them, there's some more here in Orion, there's some up there too. This one here is not in Orion, we'll cover that one in just a second. The original constellations only contain the bright stars that the ancients saw and they put pictures around. As we'll see, that definition has changed now. And some of these constellations were identified thousands of years ago. We're still using 48 of them today. And we'll show some of those. This is the bright spot that was in the middle of Orion. It's the Orion Nebula. It's also known as M42. It's a long, long way away. I'm not going into distances today. Just take my word for it that 1344 light years is a really, really long way away. It is also 24 light years in diameter, which is absolutely astronomically large. What is it? It's what's known as a stellar nursery. That means there is star formation going on there now. Well, maybe not exactly now, but that's for another talk. Now, when you look into the sky, you see a constellation like this. This is the big number. But they're not next to each other. It just looks like they are because they're projected on the celestial globe. But they are very much far away from each other. They're not associated with each other, and they're not necessarily moving in the same direction or in the same speed. So you see there the familiar asterism, and down here there's a representation of how they are actually in 3D space. Here's another representation of Orion. So this is what we see projected in the sky, and here they are in three-dimensional space, widely separated from each other. And you'll see that has implications for our descendants, far descendants, because despite the fact that some of these stars are moving very fast, because the distances are so vast, they're moving very slow. Does that make sense? This is Richie Havens. And he's singing an old folk song that helped the African Americans escape from slavery.
When the sun comes back, every first whale calls, follow the breaking call. For the old man is waiting just to carry you freedom, follow the breaking call.
And the drinking gourd was that asterism that we know as the plow of the Big Dipper. So very useful for African Americans trying to escape slavery.
For the old man is waiting to...
What's precession? This is precession. So there's a gyroscope up here, and it's precessing. And it's precessing very quickly, as you can see it going round, right? Right? Yes, good, good. So make sure you're all with me still. The Earth, however, does this every 26,000 years. Now, this was discovered a long time ago, actually, before the birth of Christ, 120 BC. It was discovered by Hipparchus. How do we know? This is always a good question when you go back into the mists of time. How do we know anything happened when they said it happened like 2,000, 3,000 years ago? It's because somebody else said so. So in this case, we know Hipparchus discovered it because Ptolemy told us. We have no extant writings from Hipparchus, only writings from Ptolemy that refer to early discoveries. And that's often how some of these early events are known to us. It's because somebody else told us. Here's the precession showing how the pole star moves. So right now the pole star's there, and we're around about 2000. And as the Earth precesses, you'll see that that's going to go through these different constellations, and it will go around again, and then finally we will come back to Thuban there in 21,000 years.